lovelies, welcome to my channel. I'm Sofie from Sofie and the Stacks, and today we're doing the newbie tag. Why? Because I'm new to BookTube, so I figured that would probably be a pretty good starting spot. So let's dive right in. So starting with number 1. Why did I choose to start this channel? So the two most obvious ones. I wanted to talk about books, and I wanted to share bookish joy. I love reading. I always have loved reading. And I also love talking about books. So I figured love of reading, love of talking about books, put those together. A BookTube channel might be a good idea. And the third reason would also be I would love to create like a bookish community where you guys can talk to me and I can talk to you guys can talk to me and I can talk to you guys, and we can have a conversation about books. So I started this channel because I really wanted to just talk about books and have a bookish community around me. So let's try to make that happen, okay? I will do my part. I'll just hope that you guys can help with yours. So, question 2. What are some fun and unique things that I bring to BookTube? Well, that's a fun question. Besides overthinking everything possible, I also want to create a safe space for everyone where everyone can express their opinions in a polite way, because we don't do impolite. That's rude. Who would have thunk? But so yeah, I would love to be able to create a safe space for everyone to be and talk about books, because I feel like that's what books should be for a lot of us, like a safe space. But another fun thing, at least I think it's fun. I enjoy it a lot. But I'm also an artist, meaning I do more traditional. I'd love to get into digital. It's scary though, So if any of you guys are artists and have digital advice, please give it to me in the comments. I don't know what I'm doing with digital. It's awful. But I love traditional art, and I also love to write. I'm actually working on a story at the moment. Will it ever be finished? I am not sure. The people around me like to give me a hard time that I am never actually going to finish a book that I'm writing. But, you never know. Maybe I'll finally get over myself and finish writing it. So, on to question 3. What am I most excited about for this channel? So, obviously, I am very excited to talk about books. I love books, as I've said before, and I will probably repeatedly say through the course of this video and the lifespan of this channel. But I love books. They have always held a special spot in my heart, and as I said earlier too, I would love to be able to create a two-way conversation about books, from me to you and you to me. So that sounds amazing. So I really hope we can make that happen. But another thing that I'm really excited about for starting this channel is I would love to be able to document my personal reading journey. Starting a couple years ago, I started using some reading trackers, but I am also notorious for forgetting to update reading trackers. I will say the one I update most is Storygraph because it has all the data. And I'm a nerd and I love data. Data is wonderful. Give me all that data, please and thank you. But I would love to be able to document my reading journey and share it with you guys, with everyone. So, yeah. Question 4. Why do I love reading? I've said multiple times already that I love reading. So, why do I love reading so much? Well, first and foremost, escapism. Yeah. But yeah. Books are a safe place where you can get away from the, using a strong word here, horrors of life. Obviously not all life is going to be filled with horrors, a lot more mundanities, but, for someone with ADHD, mundane stuff is... So, I love books because, well, they do have a lot of repetition. There can be so much adventure in a book. I mean, most books do have a lot of adventure. There's an obvious story in the books, and I love that. Another thing I love about books is they're literally magic. I mean, like, you can walk into a library or a bookstore, and the walls are filled with portals to these new worlds, realities that you've never experienced before. I mean, unless you've already been through that portal, but I mean, still, like, how cool is that? You can pick up a book and be transported into a place you've never been before. Then, another thing I do love about reading is also, like, it builds empathy. Like, seriously, like, you read a book about someone who you are not that main character in your book. Honestly, most of the time I'm kind of glad for that, because I would not survive most of the books I read, but hey. But you read about this character, and you read about the hardships they go through, and you develop empathy for this character. You care about this character. And I mean, is that not empathy? Does that not help you in your day-to-day life, where you meet people who are not yourself, who are going through hard situations, and can you not connect to them in a new way now that you have started teaching yourself this skill called empathy, this trait called empathy? So, yes, that is the main reasons for why I do love reading so much. Of course, there's a lot more. I could do like a whole video essay on that. I might one time, who knows? I sure don't. But, yes. So, question 5. When did I start reading? So, I have always loved reading, like, from the time I was a wee little child, all the way to now. And hopefully on into the future. Because if I don't like reading in the future, I don't know what I'm going to like. Books have always been a constant for me through all the change that happens in life, because life is full of changes and I don't like changes. But yeah, so through all the change of life, books have always been there. Like, I remember, like, my parents would usually punish me by taking the books out of my room. I remember one specific time where I was not allowed to have books in my room at night because I would stay up reading these books. I was in elementary school, mind you, at the time, so it's reasonable that they didn't want me staying up till like 2 a.m. reading. I do that now, but I mean, I'm pretty much managing most of my own time anyway, so hey. But, so, my parents said I was not allowed to have books in my room until, like, after a certain time. I don't remember what time it was. But I also remember, at the time, I had a bathroom connected to my bedroom. It was the bedroom my sister and I shared. And I would take books up to my room during the day, put them in the bathroom, and then at night I would go into the bathroom and read until whenever in the morning, because the bathroom was not the bedroom. So, I was a genius child, obviously. I was always finding ways to do my passion. That sounded weird. I was always finding ways to read. So, question 6. What book or series got me into reading? As I said before, in the last question, I have always loved to read. Like, I don't even remember the first book that I read on my own or that was read to me. I do remember, though, like, when I was real little and before I could even read, even probably when I was still learning to read and even a little after, reading was like a main bonding time between me and especially my mom. We would read together. If I didn't know how to read, she would read to me. If I knew how to read, I would read to her. So I do look back. I don't remember any exact moments from that, but I mean, it's still a nice, vague recollection of my past that I had. Then, when I was in later elementary, like maybe second, third, I don't remember how old I was, I got into rainbow magic. All those fairy books. I think that might have started my love for fantasy. That was the first fantasy series I ever actually remember reading. But I read those and loved them and was constantly reading them. Then I remember in 5th grade, my English teacher wrote on my report card, which I was not reading at the time, I read this later, but my English teacher wrote on my report card that I should only read one book at a time. And I look on him with spite, as I am currently reading 5 books. I'm currently reading 5 books. But I mean, if I can balance them all, why not? They're all interesting. I want to read all of them, so why not read them all at the same time? So, yeah, I look on him with spite. And I'm like, look at me. I must be a god. So, oh yes, and now, when I was in 6th grade, my English teacher assigned us to read The Lightning Thief, the first book of Percy Jackson, and that ignited a love in me. Even now, I obsess over Percy Jackson. Yeah, I can recite all 18, 21, 24 titles that Riordan has written at this point, up to this point, and I can pretty much recite them in both order of publication and in chronological event occurrence. I'm a little concerned for myself. So, yay! But I mean, hey, they are good books. You can't hate on Percy Jackson. If you can, I will fight you. Yes, I will. I don't have a sword nearby. I will buy a sword and fight you. I will find a pin that can turn into a sword to fight you. There we go. Wonderful. So, question 7. What questions would I ask my favorite booktubers? Honestly, how on earth do some booktubers have like so much creativity when it comes to coming up with new ideas? Like, I don't get it. It is like, wow. It's fascinating. It's so cool. And I would love to be able to do that myself. So, like, where do you get the ideas from? If you have an answer, please tell me. Let me in on the secret. So, yeah. So, we're going to move on before I cry. Question 8. What challenges do I think starting English. What challenges do I think I will face with starting this BookTube channel? I mean, for one, I like books, and I tend to talk kind of fast when I'm talking about things I like. I've been trying to measure my pace this whole time. I'm not sure how I was doing, but I mean, this is about how I can usually talk when I'm really talking about something I absolutely love, and it can be a little teeny tiny, itty bitty fast, and yeah, most people can't quite keep up with it, but I mean, hey, whatever. I don't really care because this is also like the I'm talking to myself voice, and I can keep a pretty fast pace. But yeah, I can talk fast, unfortunately, and I can't always control at which speed I'm talking, unless I am consciously thinking about it. And that takes a lot of thought for filming more long-form content like this. So, I hopefully can do this. Woohoo! There we go. Another thing that I think is going to be a problem is scheduling. I've always had a hard time with the schedule. And, I mean, it's funny. I think I mentioned earlier, I have ADHD. And, like, professionals will say that for an individual with ADHD to thrive, they need a pretty solid schedule. However, we can't keep our own schedules, apparently, because time blindness, paralysis, it's so much fun. If you know a way to get out of this, save me, please. But, yeah. I've always had a hard time with scheduling. Scheduling school, scheduling sleep, scheduling meals, scheduling when I should generally be functioning. So, yeah. So I really want to work on having a consistent schedule so then you guys know when I'm going to update this channel. So, yeah, scheduling is going to be a pretty big task. So, question 9. Where do I like to read? The real question, though, is where do I not read? I read on the counter, I read in bed, I read on the counter, I read in bed, I read in the living room, I read at the dining room table, I listen to audiobooks when I'm walking anywhere, I read in the library. I'll read most places. If I have time to read, I will read. Unless I get stuck in doom scrolling, which is always so tragic because it's like I would like to read. I would like to put my phone down and not be on it. But it is now glued to my hand and I can't stop. Again, if you know where I can get a new brain, please let me know. I need, yeah. So question 10. What kind of books do I like to read? As I mentioned a little earlier, I love fantasy. Fantasy holds a special place in my heart. I mean, maybe that's just I love magic and seeing things that, like, I find the world boring. Magic makes things more interesting. So that might be part of it, but I feel like fantasy also, like, most of the fantasies I read also have a lot more action, more happening, but yeah. So I read a lot of fantasy, a lot. But I've also been working on diversifying my reading. I've been reading more romance, trying to get into some mysteries. Classics are another one that I really want to get into. I would love to get into historical fiction. I just don't know where to start. If you guys have any good historical fiction recommendations, please put them down in the comments. I don't know what I'm doing with that genre. It's a lot, and for someone who gets bored of the Little House on the Prairie style recommendation, as someone who gets bored of the Little House on the Prairie type books or Anne of Green Gables, it can be tough. So, yeah. But, yeah, so I'm working on diversifying my reading. So, if there's any book that you would like to see me read, just put it down in the comments of any of my videos. Just let me know, obviously, that it is a recommendation, because I can be a bit dense. It's not great. My friends give me a hard time about it. It's kind of funny. But, yeah, so that is the newbie tag. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please give me a thumbs up. If you can figure out a way to do double thumbs up, that would be great. Double the likes. And subscribe, hit that notification bell so then you'll be notified whenever I do upload a video while I'm still working on figuring out a more consistent upload schedule. Woo woo! So, yeah. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on Sofie and the Stacks. Bye-bye!